Welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing in our top story. Several buildings related to the federal government were targeted earlier this morning on St. Thomas. FBI agents and the Virgin Islands Fire Services were on the scene of the crimes. The motive of the attacks on the building is unknown at this time. News 2's reporter Stephanie Brown reports.
Thomas firefighters were hard at work throughout the morning fighting fires at the Rendezvous Federal Building as well as the United States Coast Guard building. In information provided in a press release, fire services responded to the first emergency call at 1:43 a.m. Reportedly, firefighters were alerted that a third blaze had risen at the Niski Center. At the scene at the Navy Career Center, we can see that there is only broken glass, ashes, and hanging wire remaining. The recruiting office lost its files, equipment, and furnishing in the fire. We can also see that the FBI and fire service personnel is at the scene trying to make sure that the structure is safe for other businesses that surround this shopping center. After arriving to the Niski Center this morning, business owners and employees spoke about their experience.
Well, the place was all smoky and a lot of water in the floor and all the soot from the smoke. And everything in here, everything you touch, you have dust on it. It's bad, but, I'm dealing with it because, I have to make some money, you know what I'm saying?
The floors were like a little pool in here, a lot of water. A lot of soot all over everything, pencils, the walls, computers, everything was a mess. And we're still cleaning. And we know that it was a fire next door, and that's really to the extent of what we got, that there was a fire.
An FBI spokesperson confirms, meanwhile, that a possible suspect is in custody in connection with the rash of fires overnight on St. Thomas. He said the suspect has been identified from videos taken from nearby establishments, and there is enough evidence to charge him. We will have more information as it becomes available. Meanwhile, the Virgin Islands Fire Service reports that the personnel from hotel company responded to the first call. Here's more from VIPD.
The Virgin Islands Fire Service reports that its personnel hotel company responded to the first emergency call at about 1:43 a.m., which reported fires at the Rendezvous Federal Building and the United States Courthouse and the United States Coast Guard building, which houses the Marine Safety Detachment. Firefighters extinguished a fire which was burning palm trees, plant boxes, and an area of lawn at the federal building. They simultaneously suppressed a fire burning an area of lawn at the Coast Guard building. Both situations were under control within 10 minutes, according to the fire service officials. While still at the original fire scene, firefighters were alerted by 911 emergency call reporting a third blaze at the United States Navy recruiting station at Niski Center. Both units of House Hotel arrived to find the office engulfed in flames, which required 30 minutes to bring under control. The recruiting office, its files, equipment, and furnishings were completely destroyed. A major effort was launched immediately to investigate a series of suspected acts of arson of federal properties. The United States Coast Guard Investigative Service, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Virgin Islands Police Department, and the Virgin Islands Fire Service Arson Prevention and Investigation Unit are among the initial agencies involved, or how he may have been linked to the fires. There have been no reports of any injuries resulting from these fires.
Be sure to count on 2 to keep you updated. Meanwhile, police need your help. They are asking for your assistance in locating a man and submitted this photo. The male individual in the light-colored shirt, they say, is a person of interest for cashing stolen checks from the Eat at Cane Bay restaurant. The Economic Crime Unit is seeking assistance from the media and the public to help identify the individual. If anyone has any idea of who the individual is, please call 911 or 340-773-2266. Make contact with Detective Melissa Smith or Jonathan Sanderson. You can also always call the Crime Stoppers and leave an anonymous tip. Crime Stoppers is 1-800-222-TIPS. On January 8th, a male individual reported to the desk officer at the Anselmo Marshall Police Command that he had lost his wallet and there were multiple unauthorized transactions made on his credit card. An investigation from detectives in the Economic Crime Unit showed that between January 5th and January 8th, 2017, 19 transactions totaling the amount of $1,899 were fraudulently made at various businesses on St. Croix, as well as online purchases. The detectives were able to identify the individual making the transaction as Melissa Luz Ponce, who resides in the D. Hamilton Jackson Terrace. After Melissa Ponce confessed to the transactions, an arrest warrant was issued by the Superior Court of the VI for the charges of grand larceny, obtaining money by false pretense, forgery, identity theft, and fraudulent use of a credit card. On February 28th at approximately 1 p.m., 27-year-old Melissa Luz Ponce surrendered herself at the Anselmo D. Marshall Police Command. A nighttime interception of a fishing vessel in international waters yielded 4.2 tons of cocaine with an estimated value of $125 million. The biggest maritime seizure in the Atlantic since 1999, Coast Guard officials say. The February 16th operation was revealed Monday when the cocaine bales were offloaded at Coast Guard Sector San Juan 2 days after the 4 Guyanese men apprehended in the seizure were delivered to federal law enforcement in St. Croix. According to the Coast Guard, the San Juan-based Sentinel-class fast response cutter Joseph Napier, they detected the fishing boat Lady Michelle north of Suriname's capital city in international waters. The vessel was towed to its port of registry in St. Vincent. In other news, the 32nd legislature of the VI is in legislative session today considering the sin tax bill, which was proposed to enhance revenues for the territory as part of Governor's 5-year financial plan towards attaining fiscal stability and economic growth. Additionally, Bill number 32-0007 related to enforcing a baseline payment on real property at a minimum of $360 is on the floor being deliberated by senators late into the evening. And during the session, which was still ongoing at noontime, senators expressed the difficulty and aggravation they have experienced in their personal lives in regards to the controversy that the sin tax and the property bill has generated. News 2 has been actively reporting on the legislative sessions as well as the protests and public statements that have been made in regards to both bills, and we will provide you with up-to-date information on the decisions that were made at today's legislative sessions occurring at the Earl B. Otley Legislative Hall. And here's another update. The Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority was forced to implement small-scale rotating service interruptions, as you know, in the St. Thomas-St. John district since Friday night, as the Randolph-Hawley power plant on St. Thomas was challenged by the lack of adequate generation capacity to meet an increasing demand for electrical service. After completing repairs to its transformer components, personnel at the Randolph-Hawley power plant successfully brought Unit 23 online at 7:57 p.m. on Monday. The addition of the island's largest unit to dispatch affords WAPA the generation capacity needed to meet the demand for electric service in the district and ends a schedule of rotating service interruptions that had been implemented at mid-afternoon Monday beginning at 3:15 p.m. Several feeders experienced either full or partial service interruptions while repairs were being made to Unit 23. They included Ridge Road Feeder and feeders 7B, 7A, 9E, 8B, 10A, 7C, 9D, 10B, 8A, and 7E. Service was fully restored to the island at 8:20 p.m. again. Well, in just a few hours, President Trump is set to deliver his first speech to a joint session of Congress. The address comes in the midst of a tough start for the Trump administration, and as Hill Republicans seek reassurance that the White House has their backs on the top priorities. Karen Kaifa is live on Capitol Hill with the latest.
Hi, Donald John Trump.
40 days after his swearing in, President Trump heads back to Capitol Hill, an opportunity to convince Congress and the American people he's on the right track, even amid low approval ratings.
He needs to move the tone more towards
pulling together on common areas. That's what legislation is about.
The president is expected to highlight campaign promises kept so far, pulling out of the Trans-Pacific Partnership Trade Agreement and movement on job creation. But these actions have mostly been taken without the congressional cooperation he'll need for looming big agenda items, like repeal and replacement of the Affordable Care Act, a goal stalled amid GOP intra-party squabbles. Hill Republicans will be listening for an embrace of the House GOP plan.
This is a plan that we are all working on together, the House, the Senate, and the White House, so there aren't rival plans here.
The president is also expected to pitch a federal budget that boosts defense and security spending by $54 billion. The plan could put him at odds with both parties. Democrats opposed to cuts in domestic programs to offset that spending, and some Republicans who wanted to see cuts or changes to Medicare and Social Security.
We don't know where the cuts are coming from, but it's hard to see with this magnitude of cuts that, once again, middle-class people, working families are going to be hurt.
White House officials say President Trump will present an optimistic vision to a primetime audience and members of his own party looking for policy points to rally around. On Capitol Hill, I'm Karen Kafa.
Let's take a look at the New York Stock Exchange with the Stock Market Watch. Keeping our eye on the economy there, we can see the Dow down 25, NASDAQ down 36, S&P 500 also down 6. Coming up on News 2, we have much more straight ahead. IGY, they hosted the second annual philanthropic initiative, Inspire Giving Through You. That was last Saturday. Volunteers from Yacht Haven Grand Marina, American Yacht Harbor, they came together to construct a hydraulic environmental learning center. We'll tell you what that is coming up. Welcome back. CAPA, which is the Community and Police Association, they invited all residents of the Sugar Estates Senior Complex to attend a neighborhood meeting date, and that was last evening, and they have another date coming up. Now, many residents came out to voice their concerns. There will be a follow-up meeting now on Monday, March 6th at the social room, second floor, 6:30 p.m. Many issues of concerns were addressed, including providing generator service that will cover the inside of the apartments. And they say with the rolling blackouts, the experience with WAPA, there's a real safety concern, including falling and not being able to find essential items such as medicine. Currently, they say the generators only cover public areas and surrounding grounds. In response to an urgent need, CAPA provided 15+ flashlights to the residents. Well, IGY hosted its second annual philanthropic initiative, Inspire Giving Through You, last Saturday. Volunteers from Yacht Haven Grand Marina and American Yacht Harbor, they came together to construct a hydraulic environmental learning center, an outdoor science lab for Adelita Cancran Junior High School. Now, you heard about this on the radio today, so we give credit to the students from UVI's broadcast Comp 340, WUVI Radio, and UVI Media Club for the video and interviews. Here's more.
The Outdoor Hydrologic Learning Center, which is a fancy word for a farm, being built at Adelita Cancran Junior High School. There are teachers, community, volunteers, college students, yachties from the boat.
My name's Phil Blake. I'm the general manager at Yacht Haven Grand. And
I'm Vivian Gable. I'm the marketing manager at Yacht Haven Grand. We're today at Adelita Cancran Junior High, working on our annual community outreach program with IGY Marinas called Inspire Giving Through You. This is the second year that Inspire Giving Through You has been in existence, and we're building it into the corporate ethos, which is pretty amazing. Each year we have two separate projects. One is in February and the other is in June. Half of our marinas do a project in February and the other half do a project in June.
It's just a wonderful project. There's probably 100 people out there working in the heat and the sun to make this project happen. And the project could not have been completed without the support of the UVI Cooperative Extension Service and all of the amazing faculty staff affiliated with the Water Ambassador Program.
We've got a lot of empty land space that has not been in use, and so Christina Chanis, through Cooperative Extension Services, has partnered with the Adelita Cancrine Junior High School. Yacht Haven Grand has come in as partners with Vivian Yapel and Phil Blake. And what we have this morning is the start of a really large gardening project.
And you heard the voice of Christina Chanez, and big kudos to Ogami Wilson, who's the class professor, for editing that video there. Now, just a quick note, the Adelita Cancrine Junior High School, they will be conducting a scheduled tsunami drill. That's on Thursday, March 2nd, beginning at 1 p.m. on the school grounds. As part of the drill, an emergency alarm system will be activated, and emergency vehicles will be present to assist staff and students. The Department of Education thanks the community for its vigilance as this exercise is being conducted. St. Peter and Paul students, they presented a short Black History celebration on Monday morning just before the day's classes began. They started out the day during assembly by recognizing Black leaders who made a difference. The students then performed an energetic African dance that was well choreographed to the delight of all the students in attendance. The dancers were Zakia Stubbs, Nira Daniel, Nisha Punwani, Jalila Thomas, Keith Ann Maynard, Cheyenne Rudder, Miss Alana John, and Mrs. Tishma Lance, Miss Kim Zoe Rudder, Kelja Francis, and China Rudder. Congrats to the students for a job well done, and thanks to student photographer Ryan Carrad for those great pictures. The Arabian Nights Gala, hosted by the American Cancer Society, that was held. Many came decked out in their finest to reflect the theme, featuring the renowned Yashira and Sabu belly dancing and drumming sensations from Puerto Rico. It was an authentic Arabian experience featuring mezzo-style cuisine. Lisa Chamley Acqui is the new executive director, and she says the funds raised at this gala will provide services for underserved cancer patients in the territory because there's a huge need during the most trying journey of their lives. The gala event signaled a new start of events to raise funds leading up to the biggest fundraising event, the Relay for Life, that's scheduled for May 20th to 21st at Canagata on St. Croix and June 24th to 25th on St. Thomas at a new venue this year, Adelita Cancrine Field, and that's due to remodeling efforts at CAHS. All funds raised stays on island and goes directly to patient assistance. You can call 340-775-5373 and 340-778-2882 on St. Croix, respectively, for the American Cancer Society. On February 25th, All Saints Cathedral School, they hosted their second annual International Gala themed Magic of Marrakech. This is a celebration of the country of Morocco, which was featured in decor, cuisine, signature cultural drink, special entertainment, and more. Many in the community dressed to a T, including many alumni, teachers, and parents, for the elegant evening of fun, excitement, and philanthropy. There was elegant Mediterranean-style dining and auctioned items. The event was held to raise money for the 88-year-old historical school. For the last 6 months, AP English Language and Composition students at CAHS, they have been hard at work on a collaborative research project with high school students in Denmark that shed light on an aspect of VI history, the role Moravian missionaries played in the education of enslaved Africans living in the Danish West Indies in the mid-1700s. Now, on Wednesday, March 1st, the CAHS students will welcome 24 Danish students from Haderslev Ketralskol High School in Denmark and embark on 3 days of research, sharing, field trips, and a roundtable discussion on March 2nd at 8 a.m. They will present their findings at CAHS. Congrats to the students there. Well, speaking of the centennial, as her way to celebrate and recognize the centennial, artist Nikki Brooks' latest production, 100 Years Strong, is a must listen to. Now, it was released yesterday. Many are sharing this image you see right there on their profile pic on Facebook to show their support. And you can hear a little bit, you can hear it there in the background. She said it gently sings you into an all-inclusive, top-notch tropical vacation on St. Croix. The lyrics boast of a beautiful, vibrant energy, colorful artistry with historical insights and a personal gratitude for a Caribbean lifestyle and culture. Nikki partnered with a producer, Dines, who hails from Trinidad, to create this track that is both personal and expressive. And stick around later in the newscast. You'll hear more from that. Be sure to stick around. Your News to AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.
At our current satellite, well, as far as cold fronts and all that mumbo jumbo goes, we're not seeing too much of that, but what we are seeing a pickup in our trade wind flow. So you can very clearly see that distinctly on our radar here. These winds associated with an area of high pressure out over the Atlantic coming in across much of the central Caribbean, including over the Virgin Islands. That's bringing an uptick in our shower activity as well. So for today, saw some earlier, can't really see any on our closer radars right now, but into tonight we'll continue to see those brief passing showers, partly cloudy conditions with a low tonight of 73 degrees as well. Now into tomorrow, spotty showers going to mar all of the islands really, from St. John, St. Croix down into St. Thomas as well. And we're also seeing our temperatures sit in those mid 80s. Now as far as our tide conditions go, that's where we start to see a little bit of those issues out on the waters. We're looking at a small craft advisory in effect. Check out these easterly trade winds on the Atlantic side. We're at winds out of the east 20 to 25 knots, gusts just a bit higher. Waves generally going to sit around 6 to 8 feet, but we could potentially see some up to about 10 feet as well. So not the best wave conditions out there, marine conditions there, and we could also be seeing an increase in rip currents as well. As far as the Caribbean side goes, pretty much the same story. Our winds are just going to sit slightly less as well, 15 to 20 knots. A look at your extended forecast shows those moderately strong trade winds really lasting in through the weekend as well. Looks like Friday will have a bit more sunshine, but we cannot rule out that brief passing shower. So definitely make sure you do have that umbrella handy just in case. Not talking about any cold weather, of course. It should be relatively good to head out to the beaches. Back to you, Sandy.
Thank you. Time for our News to Weather picture there by Sienna Yearwood of Ricardo Richards Elementary School. Nice and simple, some sunshine and calm seas, Sienna, but we got to keep that umbrella handy, as we just heard. Send us your News to Weather picture to the address on the screen, and then tune in to see it right here on News 2. That is all for now. Thank you for joining us for all the latest. We leave you with music from Nikki Brooks as she celebrates our centennial. This was released just yesterday. Enjoy. Have a great evening.
People from all over the Caribbean, so come let we go to a place that I call home. It all started back in Africa many years ago. Straight from the plantation, we come look how far we grow. Sing pride again.